All right, man. Well, it's good to have you here again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great. We're excited to have you on the show again. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about AI. And I think most people have seen you talk a little bit about it. They know you're pretty excited about it. And so I just wanted to get you on here to talk about, you've been using it in some of your businesses. I wanted to talk about, what do you see? Have you been seeing advantages? What do you see AI being in the future? I just want to dig into your head and see, what are you thinking now that you're using it? You know, we've got the AI phone agents, we've got automated bot agents. There's so many different things out there that sometimes I feel like the general population, when they hear AI, it's such a big subject. They don't understand what it means for them and in their business. So starting out, for sure, I know you're using the AI phone agents. Give me a little bit of insight, thoughts, how you see that working, and the advantages you're seeing in your businesses.
So I guess let me start by saying anything that hasn't been done is always going to be met with a little bit of scrutiny, especially when you talk about artificial intelligence replacing tasks that actual people do. You add a little bit of emotion. Sometimes it's exciting. For some, it's not so exciting. But like anything in life, and certainly in business, you always have to be looking forward. And not everything pans out perfectly as you would see it, but certainly everything moves forward with or without you. So this is something we've been looking at for a while. Nothing's ever fast enough for us. We always want to keep go, grow. Certainly when we understand that something's possible, we want it to happen yesterday, but we've come a long way. When we started our first landscape business, like just taking the estimating as an example, we would literally have to take a phone call at an office line on an answering machine. We would have to go out to their home with a wheel. We would measure the home. And then through experience, we created formulas for, how fast we could be so that we could come up with a $1 per hour rate so that we knew what to charge people. And that process was very expensive. That's what it was, and everybody was doing it. You fast forward into the early 2000s, and now you have Google Earth, and, someone would call your home, call your business, or probably call your mobile, maybe even a text or an email into the 2005, 6, 7. And all of a sudden, you could measure these homes on the computer pretty accurately. And that was a huge advancement. It took some people some catching up to figure it out. But if I said to anybody today, do you go out to a home and measure the lawn? Probably nobody does it. I don't care who you are, right? And now we're in a situation where, someone calls our office. If we don't pick up the phone, an automated bot is picking up the phone. And by the customer simply saying, I want a proposal, within 60 seconds, every service at that person's home is estimated and is more accurate than when I went to their home 35 years ago to measure with the wheel. So I know that's a long timeline, but do you think that my business when I was 16 years old could compete administratively with my business today? There's no way. Do you think that my business in 2005, when we started using Google Earth, could compete with our business today? There's no way. So if we didn't do things that were uncomfortable, or maybe weren't 100% accurate, so that we could learn to make it more accurate, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in today. And I can use that example with pretty much every facet of our business. And I know anybody in business can use the same example. We can talk about the equipment and the efficiencies of the equipment today. We can talk about the scheduling. I used to walk around with a notebook this thick.
Right.
I'd take appointments and literally write them down in a notebook. And then we had remember the Palm Pilot?
Yeah.
In the Palm Pilot. And today it's it's all automated. Like the computer, they know my schedule. They don't need me to set my schedule. They know my availability. Everything's just so now. But really, the consumer now expects all that. So is this AI perfect? No, it's not even close. But it's a whole lot better today than it was yesterday. And there's definitely a solid purpose or a solid value in some sort of problem that this AI can solve for your business today to make you more efficient. And if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, then you're going to be left behind. And I hate to say it because I'm an old person myself nowadays. I love certain things it's tough to come off of because they've worked for us. But in this world we live in today, what works for us yesterday might not work for us today. And if we're closed-minded, there's going to be a 16-year-old kid that's going to take us right off the block.
Yeah.
And so we're excited about where it is, but I'm more excited about where it's going. And I want to know it. I want to understand it so that we can make good decisions as it advances. And it's really advancing pretty darn quick.
And, one of the things that you said was it's not perfect. And I really wanted to make sure we talked about that today because, it's very easy to watch ads online or land on a website and it just feels like, oh, this is going to solve everything. But I've never hired an employee and that on the first day they just did everything perfect.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's the same with AI. As you use it, it gets smarter and smarter and it catches on and eventually it does a pretty good job. But at the beginning, there's some bumps in the road because you're trying to make it work for you. Which is, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean AI doesn't work for you if on the first shot, it's not 100%.
So we have a pizza business, and in our pizza business, we have AI answering the phones and taking orders. And the conversation amongst the managers was, I don't think we can use this thing because certain managers anyway. Well, a customer called and complained he had to repeat himself. And I know we have 15 or 16, 17-year-old kids answering the phones. And I know that we have issues. I'm like, certain managers are like, do you think that 16-year-old kid didn't make someone repeat themselves? Or didn't put double pepperoni on the pizza when the customer asked for double pepperoni? It's the same things. And I will guarantee today the mistakes that these things make are less than in a lot of scenarios mistakes that we as humans make. Part of the process, nothing's perfect, right? So you have to be able to live with a certain part of it, understand it, and just work through it so that it can get better. But these things learn. They learn. I mean, we've been using it after hours at Victory for a few months now, and it's crazy how fast these things learn. They learn. And when they learn, they don't forget.
Right.
And you don't replace them. They don't quit. And there's a lot of advantages to it. A lot of advantages.
Well, we made some adjustments to your Victory bot over the past couple of weeks. There were some things we noticed that maybe they weren't handling the call just the way we wanted. We made the adjustment. It hasn't forgot. Every time we get those transcripts, it does what we asked it to do 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And doesn't forget.
Well, what I kind of related to also is, so the customers are calling, and they, most of them are not talking to this thing conversationally. They're saying operator. They feel like they're talking to an impromptu phone system, or representative or quote. When in fact, you can talk to these things just like humans. They want the conversation. They want the detail. We're training these things for conversations. But my grandfather, before he passed away, was text messaging on a mobile phone. And I know that he wasn't doing that out the gate, but within a couple of years, my 88-year-old grandfather was text messaging. And within a couple of years here, people are going to understand. They're going to learn, right? I know for me, I didn't really even start using email until 2008, 2009. I'm 5-6 years behind probably most people using email, right? And so you got to understand that too. You almost have to help people understand the technology. The consumer doesn't fully understand it yet. And that's part of it. So you help them along, you give them options to talk to people when they don't feel comfortable, and the team is explaining to them. But it's happening. It's happening.
So what do you say to somebody who's either watching this or has seen it and says, you know what, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till it gets a little smarter. Or I'm going to wait till they got it all figured out and I can just plug it in and I don't have to have that learning curve. What do you say to somebody who's...
Well, unfortunately, I think the technology is like anything else. It's if you're not doing it, you're not going to learn how to do it. You're not going to learn its flaws. You're not going to realize what's important, what's not so important. So I would say figure out what you need help with, whether it's scheduling or whether it's estimating or whether it's sales in general, and work with it. after hours. Solve a problem. Don't try to solve all your problems. Try to solve a problem. So like, as an example, again, inside of Victory, and this is my fault more than it's anybody's fault, but like when you first explained this technology to me, I asked 1,000 questions. What can it do? And when you told me 10 things that it could do, I wanted to know 10 more things. And like in my mind, I'm like, okay, let's do it all, right? But the reality is no matter how committed you are, it's just impossible at this point in time to work through all. Even though the technology is there, it's not like you hit a button and everything works perfectly. It's work, right? So, we stepped back and we said, okay, let's slow it down a little bit. Let's solve some problems. What are some problems? Well, in the springtime, we take 300 to 500 phone calls a day for customers calling for service issues or for new sales or new customers. And like at our business, we use a certain platform for an operating software, but the CRM software is not very good on that platform.
Yeah.
So we use a separate CRM. A lot of companies do it. You got 5, 6, 7 different software. It's kind of complicated, but like the ability to have one talk to the other, typically, even if it's an open API, in a lot of scenarios, there's double input or there's a challenge with this or a challenge with that.
Open APIs.
Well, like we're not talking.
I'm just saying, it's just amazing.
Well, you learn. Well, this is part of the process, right? We're learning. So anyways, what we were doing is we were inputting new customer information into our CRM, and then we were also inputting it into our operating platform because we needed a route inside of our operating platform. And we needed to bill inside of our operating platform, but we couldn't communicate with our customers inside of the platform because it didn't have the ability to do so. It's horrible. So we knew we had a problem there. We knew we had a lady that was trying to sign 20, 30 accounts up a day, and she had to input everything 2 times, sometimes 3 times the same client. So we said, Ryan, build us a bot that can take the information that we put into our CRM and pull it out of that CRM or duplicate it in the service platform. And that one little bot that we built, that we found out we needed 10 bots.
Yeah.
Because we had so many calls coming in, these bots couldn't work fast enough. Right. But so now we have 10 bots. That's all they do is when we sign a customer up, we put information in our CRM, the bots automatically pull it out of there and immediately put it into our platform so that it can immediately get scheduled, so that it can immediately become an official account, right? And if we're signing up 30, 40 accounts a day, that's 30, 40 customers that we don't have to re-input their name, first, last, their telephone number, their address, any special requests that the customer may want. It goes in one time, the bots take care of the rest of it. That's huge, right? But like, if I didn't spend the time and dedicate to understanding everything, I wouldn't even understood that. We started talking, I was like, okay, AI agent, that's all it does is answer the phone? No, it does so much more than that, right? I can go on and on.
Right.
But just that one little thing saved us a ton of time.
Well, even over the weekends. I mean, you guys getting calls
oh my goodness,
Saturdays and Sundays. Your team would come in on Monday and have a list of people that somebody just had to sit there and type in all of that information, where now, coming on Monday, it's all there.
Yeah.
It's done.
It goes on and on. I mean, I think, now with the bot, the way we built the bot where it actually takes the address, puts it into one software, creates an estimate, right? Mm-hmm. And then sends the estimate to the customer. Like, that was all time. Yeah. We got 5 bots that are doing that right now for us. That's another step that saves us hours every single day. So it's pretty cool stuff. And those are just 2 things that we're using it for. We have a list of items that we feel we could accomplish over the next 12 months. So we're dedicated to working through one thing at a time. You perfect it, you get it as close to perfection as possible. Then you work on the next task. So I don't know of a business that a bot couldn't help a business with an efficiency issue. Right now with the technology, big time. but it takes a certain amount of, it takes leadership, and it takes the management team feeling a little bit uncomfortable to kind of work through everything so that it works for their business. But the good thing is it's all the technology is there. All the customization is there. You're training these things exactly how you want them to be trained. So if you do things a little bit different than the next guy, no problem.
Right. So I think one of the things you said, maybe in a different way, is that you got to do things in a phased approach. And I always kind of say, like, get some quick wins. Yeah. Because this is not just, like, even your management team. You get them on board, well, you got the rest of the team that has to believe in this.
No question.
And if you go into this with your team totally not wanting to do it, it's everybody loses. So you have to do it in a way where you phase it out, where people see the advantage quickly. So, oh, wow, it helped me save 2 hours this week. Now move on to the thing that's going to save you 10 hours and then the 20 hours. But if we do too much all at once, everything starts to crumble. People they're not feeling good about it. And if your team's not behind it, it's not going to work.
No question.
So the next question, though, is like what's the return on investment? I mean, I'm sure some people are saying, like, well, I can't afford it. Or what's the cost when it comes to this stuff? And, you're implementing it. It's probably not something 2 years ago. We weren't talking about this. So this wasn't something that was like in the business plan to build all these AI bots and have AI answering your phones. But it came up. It's something new. So, like, my question is in the short amount of time that you're doing it, how do you... Now, we're not sitting down here with spreadsheets. We'd have to get John in here if I want to go through all those, the numbers. But do you feel like, since we've been implementing it, do you see it providing a pretty big return on investment for the short amount of time we've been using it?
Absolutely. But big picture, it's the cost of not doing it, in my opinion. I honestly feel this way. It's the cost of survival.
100%.
So I'm going to get in, and I'm going to take my wins, my 2-hour wins, my 5-hour wins, and I'm going to add them all up, and I'm going to watch every single one of them, and we're watching them. But ultimately, you're right. If your team isn't behind it and they feel like it's like we're not going to need anybody eventually, it's going to be like it's never going to happen in our business. If that happens, we'll be out of business before that happens. Because if everything's automated, there's no need for our service in general. Right? So, maybe there is a day where that happens. I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen on my watch. But if you don't stay out in front of things and stay, true to it, then the cost is, your return on investment is, are you going to be in business or not? That's the way I see it. So I see it too, like with a lot of these like operators, like, we did that last video and I got a lot of calls. I get calls from friends that are plumbers or HVAC contractors, because we did a couple of these videos. And it's like, well, why do I need it? It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, I know a company that uses it in the HVAC business, and they answer their phones 24/7. They schedule you, they can estimate you, and like, you're underneath a sink 10 hours a day.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? And then you go home and you return all these phone calls. These people are like already, do you not see it in your business already? I do. Okay. So if you have a representation problem, you need to solve that problem right now, because you're going to get knocked off by these guys that are doing it, even if it's just scheduling.
Yep.
So I don't care if you're a 2-man operation. And these guys say, well, I'm busy all the time. No problem. Cool. You're complacent. And I don't have to explain what happens when you become complacent, right? Just because you're doing well today doesn't guarantee anything more than you're doing well today. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to do well tomorrow. So if you can't face the music, or if you as a business owner are not willing to look 5 steps ahead, it's just a matter of time before someone does, and you won't be around. And it sounds harsh, but it's reality. So I don't know how businesses don't look at this technology, to be honest with you. I think that things have been really good in business for the past, let's say, 10 years or better. So a lot of these contractors that I talk to anyways, they're very complacent. And they'll tell you they don't want any more. They don't need any more. They've already made their money. They're comfortable where they're at. I hear it all the time, and it's like, it's fine. So maybe you just don't belong in business, because you're leading a cavalry with a bunch of people that do need money. They do need a job. They want a future. they may want more. And if your business is not made up of a team like that, then you got bigger problems. You know, everybody wants to take care of their family. Everybody wants to be better off tomorrow than they were today. They go to work, they want a return on their investment. And like your own personal financial position is just not the story. The story is everybody that's with you. Because if you have a business that has 10 employees, all 10 of those people, if they're showing up to work every day and they're working their butts off and they're taking your lead, deserve to have someone give them a lead that's going to put them in a better position tomorrow than they are today. So I look at it as imperative. I'm sorry I'm rambling.
No.
That's how I feel. I feel so responsible to make sure that we're doing the right things so that everybody has a better opportunity.
Well, I think what I like about what you're saying is you're actually saying the opposite of what everyone's fear with AI is like, oh, it's going to take my job. I won't have job security if we bring in AI. You're actually saying the opposite. You're saying you are going to bring job security to that. You're going to bring security to the company because they're staying up with technology, which locks in people's futures at these companies that are going to continue to grow. If they don't buy in, it's only a matter of time before those companies go away and those employees lose their jobs.
Right.
So I think what you're saying is pretty crucial, and leans into the point that it doesn't matter 1-person shop, 2-person shop, 50 people, 100 people. You should be getting into this technology today, not tomorrow, not in 2 years. There should be some sort of dabbling in this, no matter what industry, no matter how big or small.
This technology is available where you can get an absolute return on investment in some sort of challenge in your business today. If you don't learn it today and you don't get uncomfortable and get your team uncomfortable today, there'll be a whole lot more uncomfortable tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. It's not, you're not investing in something that you're going to save money on later. You're
Right.
investing in something that you could actually get a return on investment right now.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, and the technology too is so different in the way that we can, we've never been able to, not only we're answering phones for you, but when a lead lands onto your website, we're able to identify who that person is and automatically follow up. So now we're in this world that I can guarantee leads.
Yeah.
And automatically follow up with those people 2 minutes after they're on your website. If back in the United days, if I were to tell you that we could tell you who's visiting your website and automatically email and text those people, game changer for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Now we're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's affordable for anyone. So I think this is huge, and I really appreciate your outlook on actually changing the paradigm on this. If you want job security, if you want a future for your company, this is imperative. It's not something you can wait on, which is kind of, you're flipping the switch.
No question about it. Yeah, it's a necessity today in my viewpoint.
Well, that's why I have you on here, because
Yeah.
I want your viewpoint.
Yeah.
I respect your viewpoint. I think a lot of people respect where you came from, what you built, what you're doing now, and I think your viewpoint on this is important, because you're also an early adopter to this as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think your opinion on it is important. And, one of the things that I wanted to, we talked about you're using it, the advantages, but one thing I wanted to kind of find out from you is what was the thing that made you actually say, the aha moment, we have to do this? Was it just you just like new stuff, you like new technology? What was there a catalyst that made you think we need to do this?
Well, I mean, you introduced it to me, and the points that you made, I always look at anytime we're going to spend money as a business, what can it do for our business today? What can it do for our business tomorrow? So I guess I'm not quite sure what I didn't already say that you.
Well, the reason why I ask is because, not only are you using the technology, but like you're willing to come on videos, you're willing to come on podcasts, you're not only using the technology, but you've latched onto it so hard that it feels like what we've heard about AI for several years now. It's not anything new, let's say.
Yeah.
But you've latched onto it so tight. I just wanted to know if at the end of the day it's just like, no, dude, you told me about it and it was a no-brainer for me. That's a cool answer too. I just didn't know if there was anything when you look back. Was it another company that was using it? Was it just the idea of jumping in on something that felt like you could use it?
I mean, honestly, for me, this is probably the most exciting technology that I've seen.
Right.
Actually come to life. I've been hearing about these autonomous lawnmowers in our business for honestly, I think 25 years ago, Mr. Weingartz introduced us to an autonomous lawnmower. And they'll tell you the technology is actually 100% there now for this, but the FCC is involved and you can't get, the government out of the way with all the regulations and go on forever about why. But the reality is the only reason that this technology is not out is because people have vested interest elsewhere. So finally, we have technology that is cool, that actually solves problems, that you can actually get a return on your investment on day one. So this is exciting for me. I've always kind of run my business maybe it's to my disadvantage. I don't think it is, but I've been told it is, but I don't believe it is. But I've always kind of run my business I don't necessarily think that anything that we're doing is super secretive. I love helping other business people. I love the opportunity when I see somebody say, hey, I tried this, or I used this person. I called Ryan and he did a great job for me, thank you. Or, hey, I called Dan Weingartz and man, his service is amazing, or whatever. I love that. And it might be my competitor in a lot of scenarios that I help, but I've always felt like that's good business.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be arrogant when I say this, but I feel like it's important that we help each other out. And if we're not good enough business people to help our peers out or to get excited behind something and help somebody else out as a result, then maybe we don't belong in a leadership position in business. So I'm excited about it. I love it. I want to see other people get excited about it as well, because there's a lot of positive that's going on right now. I hear the negative. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. And I want to make sure that it gets promoted properly so that it continues to advance, because I believe that it'll help all of our businesses.
Yeah. I mean, at Smash, we haven't answered our AI agent has answered our phones for about 3 months now. And I haven't, it's done a better job getting our clients the information that they need than when we were answering the phones.
Yeah.
So it's the technology we're using, you're using it. For today, I just really wanted to drive home the fact that every industry thinks that, well, I can't use it because of this, or the size of their company, or whatever it might be. And AI, there's a solution in some way, some fashion, at the end of the day, to make your customers' experience better. Right?
No question.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do.
No
if
question.
somebody calls Victory at 9 o'clock at night, you don't want to have them wait till the next morning to get the quote. Why not now?
That's the world we live in.
Exactly.
People are not waiting anymore.
No.
I used to tell them I'll have you a price in a week, because I needed to go to their house and I needed to make sense of going to their house and measuring it. So I needed 5 more jobs over there before I went over there. They want answers right now. What is it going to cost me? When can you do the job? And if you are not willing to give them that information immediately, then somebody else.
They're calling somebody else.
Somebody else give it to them.
Yeah.
So super important. And another reason that I'm on this podcast is because we started this business really in late 2021. And this morning I went to the yard. We have 35 trucks rolling out of 2 different yards. Our 4th season of doing this. We have 35 crews, over 100 employees, cutting residential grass. And I give you a lot of that credit for helping us acquire these customers, coming up with a solid marketing plan. I give our team a lot of credit for going out and doing a great job for people. doing what you say you're going to do, right? They say over-promising,
Right.
under-promising, over-delivering. And so, like, it's my job to make sure that I, again, help out those that have helped us out. So I appreciate you. I appreciate my team.
Yeah.
And everybody who's out there in the field every single day doing an awesome job with their customers. So that's another reason that I'm so excited, and so I'm here.
Andy's wearing a full-on Smash outfit. He's down to the shoes.
Yeah, these shoes are given to me, and I probably won't be wearing them again. So you can have these.
Those are custom made. It even says Smash on the tongue. Custom made Smash Nike Airs. So he's got the full outfit on today. The Smash It sweatshirt, the hat, the shoes. So really representing today. Appreciate you coming on the show. It's always a pleasure. I'm sure we're going to see more of you. And, you can reach out to me, the team. And the one thing I want to be sure is, a lot of times when it comes to this new technology, whether it's CRM, AI, or any of the other services we offer, sometimes it can be intimidating to pick up the phone, send an email, because you don't know, like, what kind of investment does it take? Like, is Ryan going to talk through all these things that I don't understand, and I'm just going to end up in a circle of, information, and I don't know. We're very low pressure. We want you to understand what we're going to do is going to help, where it's going to help. And if it's not going to, we're going to tell you. You know what I mean? Like,
True statement.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not a good fit, we're going to say, hey, it's not a good fit, or let's talk in 6 months when you have A, B, and C lined up. So, I appreciate Sam coming on here, respect him a lot, respect foresight to jump in and say, let's give this thing a shot.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it to my attention.
Absolutely. Because,
Probably should have chosen a younger buck. You would have jumped on it like quicker.
No. So I appreciate the time, and till next time, man.
Yeah, till next time.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.